Hi, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the M&M chats. We've got my son Mikey here, and my name's Mark. This is the behaviour revolution. We're going through the fruits of righteous behaviour because that's the only form of worship that Yahusha accepts today. Behaviour. And the behaviour has to be the royal laws of love, because Yahusha summarized all his commands, all Torah and prophets hang on these two royal laws. Love Elohim with all your mind, heart, body, strength. Love your neighbour as yourself. So what does that mean? We've started going through the fruits of the Spirit, because those 9 fruits have to be growing in us. And they don't come naturally. They're not gifts. You don't just wake up one day and you've got them. You have to work them. He gives us the power to, but we have to exercise them and produce them, yeah?
Yeah.
So we did love and we did joy. Last week we did a summary of both love and joy. And then we're going on to our next fruit tonight, which is
peace.
Peace. So, do you want to start us off, Mikey? Would you want to add anything before we start on what you've been through the last 3 videos?
I think, there's a lot of similarities, so just be on the lookout for more similarities between this and the others, because since it's all connected, you can see how you kind of rely on all of them to have each other. So you can't have joy without love, you can't have love without joy, etc. And I think, so there's a lot of similarities, and we're going to see some more of them today.
Good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So we saw that joy was like a symptom or a byproduct of practicing the love. If you love someone more than yourself, if you put yourself off and love someone else or love Elohim, you will feel joy.
Yeah.
Well, peace is a bit like that too. Joy seems to be a bit more outward going. Laughter, happiness, bubbling up inside yourself. Peace seems to be a bit more quiet. Yeah. Where have you been? Oh, talking with Mum.
It's on Smoko.
It's on Smoko, mate. Yeah. We'll stick your head in and say hello now that you're here.
Hi, everybody.
So, we'll get into peace, yeah?
Yeah.
So, get into the Hebrew understanding first. What does peace mean?
To be dumb, to be astonished, to stop, also to perish, cease, be cut down, forbear, hold peace, quiet the self, rest, be silent, keep, put to silence, keep silence, be still, be stand still, tarry, wait.
Interesting that it means to be dumb. How can having peace be dumb? Can you work that out?
No, it's...
Bit baffling?
Yeah, it's not what I expected.
Well, if you have to be the smartest person in the room, how much effort does that take?
Yeah, it would take a lot.
Yeah? You have to be into everything and and what do they say and what's going on and what's oh yeah, I knew that, and then I'm going to give you more information because I know everything. And if you're the dumbest person in the room, or pretending to be,
you're just there.
You're just still. You've quietened yourself. You're calm. You're not. It's not meaning you're dumb as in you don't know anything. You're not trying to
show that you know everything.
Yeah.
Or know anything.
You might be dumb as in you're not into the intrigue. Because you're, another word, waiting. Just tarrying on, doing your routines, waiting for Yahusha. So when someone does tell you something, it's a surprise.
Yeah.
Some people go into their day wanting to know all the intrigue, wanting to know all the gossip, wanting to know where they stand with everybody, what do they say about me, and what they want to know everything. Whereas if you're just kind of dumb to it, and surprised when you hear things, it's kind of like being innocent,
Yeah.
You've got peace because there's nothing coming in to stir you up. Yeah, go on.
To hush, hold peace, keep silence, still. So that's again...
You can read the things in the brackets too.
Tongue, hold peace, tongue, keep silence, still.
What were you going to say?
That's again like the, to be dumb, you're silent, observing.
Mm.
You're not like making yourself known to everyone.
Because that's all about yourself,
Yeah.
which has to die. The only way these fruits are going to come forth, the more and more we die, the more and more they come out. Yeah.
To scratch, to engrave, plough, to fabricate with tools of any material, to devise in a bad sense, hence from the idea of secrecy to be silent, to let alone, to be deaf as an accompaniment, as an accompaniment of dumbness.
It's relating to the dumbness. See, you're deaf.
Yeah. Cease, conceal, be deaf, devise, ear, graven, imagine, leave off speaking, hold peace, be quiet, rest, practice secretly, keep silence, be silent, speak not a word, be still, hold tongue, worker.
Practice secretly, not trying to be out there, making yourself known. Don't let your left hand know what the right hand's doing. Don't go out and make big speeches and big prayers. Overcome secretly. Do this, practice this secretly between you and Yahusha. It's also talking a lot about being deaf. What's that to do with?
Not listening to...
What? Yeah, not listening. Yeah. Not listening. Exactly right. Not listening. When you're getting into the intrigue, and who's that all fueled by? You're listening to voices. You're listening to spirits. The spirit in your flesh doesn't want you to do this. Doesn't want you to have this peace. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, go on.
It's more... So far, there's a big pattern of, being more quiet and secrecy like in yourself. And more, not doing anything to do with anyone else. It's just focusing on yourself.
It's like something's trying to come in to stir us up. And this is the opposite. If you switch it off and don't listen to it, you have peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Voice or sound, to call aloud, bleeding, crackling.
Bleating.
Bleating?
Like a lamb bleating.
Okay. Bah. To call aloud, bleating, crackling, cry out, fame, lightness, lowing, noise, hold peace, proclaim, sing, sound, spark, thundering voice, yell. Is like the opposite of all that other stuff. So,
that's his voice.
Yeah.
That word there, 6963, is the voice that appeared on Sinai. That's the thundering voice they heard.
Okay.
That's his word, his Torah, his instructions in us, his voice in us. So that's why if you cut off everything else, be deaf and dumb and mute and quiet, you'll hear his voice. Yeah, that's what it's saying.
I also think it's more like, it's also like if you're minding your own business or doing anything, if people come at you, he's there and his voice will do and say it for you. So like when someone does something to you, then he punishes them afterwards. That's like his voice saying what you didn't, because you shouldn't.
He does it all.
Yeah.
Vengeance is his.
Security, genuine or false, abundance, peace, peaceably, prosperity, quietness.
And the next one is a really good one. It's shalom. It's what all the Jews say, to say hello and goodbye. Shalom, 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 hello, shalom, shalom. And that means to be whole, well, happy, friendly, welfare, health, prosperity, peace, familiar, fair, favour, friend, great, good, health, perfect, such as be at, peaceable, prosperity, rest, safety, salute, welfare, whole. It's the word to do. Shalom and Shabbat are very similar, Sabbath. It's also the word they reckon that Yahusha yelled out, it is finished. It means it's finished as well, completed. And that's the next one, completed, in mind, body, or estate, to be safe, to be friendly, to reciprocate, make amends, make an end, It is finished. Full. Give again. Make good. Repay. Pay again. To make peaceable. That is perfect. Perform. Make prosperous. Recompense. Render requite. Make restitution. Restore. Reward. Surety. So that shalom and shalom, to be whole and to be completed. If we transition into Yahusha, we will become like him, because this is what he did. He had 100% shalom. He was completely perfect, prosperous, successful in everything he did, and then he came and he completed everything. He took all the Torah, laws and prophets and instructions, everything, and he was the living word. So when he spoke, it was just like all the scriptures that had come before him in living form. So that's why we listen to him, because he's not going to take us down any wrong paths. Just like the Jews and the Hebrews followed his word, should have followed his word, they didn't. That's why they got divorced. But he is that word. So everything he says is a summation of all that. That's why we don't have to harp about 10 commands, because he gives us 2 royal laws,
Yeah.
Love. It's all about love. So that shalom, peace, security, we can have that inside us. Yeah? It's not just prosperity like, oh, you've got sacks of money. No, you're happy, you feel peace, you feel quiet. Yeah? But you can only get that going into Yahusha. Prosperity, peace. And the last one?
Thankful sacrifice, requital, voluntary peace offering.
Voluntary peace offering. We're going to spend a couple of minutes just in the older historical document to see what all those offerings were for, so that we can see what we have to be doing in our body. Because everything that came before is to be behaved through Yahusha into us. Yeah, we have to behave them.
Yeah.
So there's a few scriptures to start with. In Exodus 20, it talks about a peace offering. And in Leviticus and Numbers, all through there, talking about the sacrificial system. And there's an intimate peace offering there. What does that mean? Because it comes up in Numbers 25 as well. Elohim's covenant of peace. Under the sacrificial system, when Moses went up the mountain and got the 10 commands and instructions for the tabernacle and all these things, he got a sacrificial system. And this is what it is. In this sacrificial system, which was to be used when the Torah laws on Sinai were broken, there were 5 offerings that Israel would do. So the first one was called, in most translations, a burnt offering. And the burnt offering is a sending near offering, because they didn't understand about the deity. They thought all their pagan deities were territorial, and they thought they were over here or over there, or Elohim. Yahuah they thought was up in the sky, so that's why they used smoke, because they thought he would smell it, they'd hear it, and it was the visual, they had to visualize. So the ascending near offering was the first one. The love grain offering was the second one. Intimate peace offering is the one we're talking about here. Then there was a purifying sin offering. And then there was a forgiveness, or they would call it a guilt offering. Guilt offering is what you felt. Forgiveness is what it provided. Yeah?
Yeah.
The intimate peace offering was given under 3 circumstances. For thanksgiving, upon the payment of a vow, or as a free expression of the worshipper's goodwill, and it represents one's fellowship upward to Yahuah and outward towards man. So upward towards Yahuah and outward towards man is again referring to our 2 royal laws. Loving Elohim, Yahusha, loving our neighbour. Upward, outward. So free will offerings were given in response to Elohim's unexpected or unsought generosity and blessing. When this offering was made, Yahuah, the priest, the offerer, and his family and friends shared in a common meal and fellowship, as all these parties ate part of the sacrificed animal. They cut it up, different parts went to different people, and they'd have a big feast, and they'd share it all. Yeah?
Yeah.
So this system of sacrifices, remember this is in the Old Covenant, around the tabernacle, that's when it first started. This system of sacrifices shows us in our fleshly world how to attain real peace with our Elohim. Through the tabernacle, we are presented with a sequential order of ritual that shows us in bits and pieces the many aspects of sin, atonement, forgiveness, and how they work according to Yahusha's set-apart perfection and justice. It was all about having loving, joyous, intimate peace with him. That's how they would attain it. They didn't have his spirit within them. They were just doing what Moses said. And if they broke or made a mistake or broke any of the Torah laws, then they would have to offer up these sacrifices to feel righteous, to feel right. Peace. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, do you want to read the blue one, mate? The intimate peace offering and the shalom that we talked about?
Intimate peace offering, shalom. In Hebrew, peace offering can also be rendered offering of well-being, fellowship, or greeting, finding its root in the Hebrew word shalom, which has a deeper meaning than just your average hello or goodbye. Shalom is a greeting of favor that exudes peace, well-being, and a brotherly fellowship. There is no one word in English that can do justice to the actual and overall meaning of this word, as it embodies a broad range of qualities. The words peace and favor really just scratch the surface in terms of what this word meant to ancient Israel. The best way to explain it is to say that shalom refers to one's total sense of well-being with stacks of emphasis on the word total, a plea to Yahusha for well-being. Shalom means feeling very positive about your future. It means having health and having enough money to have your needs met, and it also means having peace of mind and favor from Yahusha. However, shalom isn't just connected to money, health, and joy, but to a deep and intimate relationship with Yahusha, the living word, light, and spirit within us.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So the word, what was it? Peace and favor just scratches the surface. It's a whole, complete fullness of wellness,
Yeah.
peace of mind. And that's what Yahusha provided. These sacrifices provided them a little bit, but Yahusha was the fulfillment of all animal sacrifices. His blood allows this to actually happen to us, and we can actually feel it. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'll just skim through that bit. 3 options and reasons. It was confession, vow, free will. For the intimate peace offering. The ascending near offering, the love grain offering, and the intimate peace offering were not to atone for any crimes or behaviours. So the first 3 offerings weren't even for if you'd done anything wrong. The first 3 on those 5 lists of sacrifices, the first 3 weren't even if you'd done anything wrong. They were just free will, because you loved Yahuwah. You loved your Elohim so much, you just wanted to offer him something, a gift, show him how much you loved him. So they were not to atone for any crimes or behaviours, but was simply a request to Yahuwah for intimacy and relationship with him through loyal obedience to his instructions. Through the process of these first 3 offerings, each Israelite realized that it was only through Yahusha's acceptance of them that they received any sort of shalom. So they had to realize that it only came through him. He owns the peace, just like he owns the joy.
Yeah.
Most intimate peace offerings were a happy, fun-filled occasion done in love, a spontaneous expression of gratitude and thankfulness to Yahuwah done any time, not out of some religious impulse, a promise or a vow. Many of these offerings were made at Yahuwah's appointed times, such as the Feast of Unleavened Bread, weeks, booths, and were also terms used for the contributions that Israel made towards the building of the tabernacle in the wilderness. It was all voluntary. The first 3 sacrifices were voluntary. All 3 types of intimate peace offerings, done in confession or vow or free will, were concluded by a special joyful meal that involved both the individual in Israel and the priests. So, you read the next one, mate. What do these offerings show us about the behaviour of Yahusha's bride? Let's bring this into today.
Remember, the whole purpose of the Levitical sacrificial system was to provide Israel with a way to approach Yahusha through innocent bloodshed. These first 3 offerings were burnt on the brazen altar and had nothing to do with atoning for any specific disobedient behavior. These offerings addressed mankind's fallen nature through a corrupt, controlling spirit in their flesh, in the face of a perfect and pure Creator. How can He ever accept us in this state and want an intimate relationship with us? Through animal sacrifice and later through His own bloodshed, Yahusha provided a legal way, like a loophole, whereby atonement could be made for mankind's inherently corrupt nature.
Because remember, the day you sin, you will die. Mankind legally was dead. Satan owns this world. And ever since our birth and conception, we are formed with a corrupt seed in us.
Yeah.
Due to the nature, inclination that we inherited from Satan when Adam and Eve chose to sin. Yeah. So legally, we belong to Satan until Yahushua came along. So see what He did? He brought us back. That's what that word peace in the Hebrew meant, to buy something back, to pay the price. It's finished, it's completed, that's what He did with His blood. Yeah.
The ascending near offering was the first step towards getting Yahuwah's attention and paved the way for Him to look favorably on them. It made the individual acceptable in His sight. Once acceptable, it was then okay to offer up a gift, a tribute to Yahusha, through the love grain offering, which expressed an individual's sincere desire to obey His instructions and please Him. Finally, the intimate peace offering was built upon the first two offerings together, accomplished, establishing shalom between Yahuah and mankind, something that could never be done unless an individual was made acceptable, step 1, and a required tribute was made, step 2. So we see how all three of these offerings work together to allow man to approach and have a relationship with Yahuah in spite of their corrupt nature. Disobedience is in every fiber of our being, and this specific system is the only way Elohim could come near.
So can you see through the vein that we've been talking about lately, these three offerings, first one was to make us acceptable, ascending near offering, to feel acceptable and intimate, to come close. And the second one was the love grain offering, which was a gift. And now the third one, to receive His peace. Can you see that that only happens through His Spirit and through His fire?
Yeah.
So it's a fulfillment. The vein is a fulfillment, once again, of all the offerings and sacrifices in the Old Testament. Because just as they felt righteous and they felt clean and they felt atoned for temporarily through the animal blood and their free will offerings, we do it through behavior. We put off the self. We face that there's a spirit in our flesh, and we go through the Spirit and we go through the fire to come out clean.
Yeah.
So see how it's fulfilled in Yahusha and through us? We have to go there though.
Yeah.
So let's do a few more scriptures in the scripture understanding. Go for it, mate.
Job 5:24. Your tabernacle will be in peace. You shall know that your tent is in peace. You shall visit your dwelling and find nothing amiss.
Or what's the tent speaking of? What's the tabernacle?
Aha.
Us.
Yeah.
You shall know that your tent is in peace. We're the temple.
Yeah. Psalm 4:8. I lie down in peace. I will both lie down in peace and sleep, for you alone, O Yahuwah, make me dwell in safety.
That's available.
Psalm 119:65. Nothing will offend them. Great peace have those who love your word, and nothing offends them. A stumbling block.
Nothing that gets put in front of them as a stumbling block will offend them. You know how there's people that just want to be offended at everything?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that. I'm offended by that.
Yeah.
You know, they take everything personal. Well, that's why that's our first rule. 3 rules. Don't take anything personal. The fulfillment of this scripture. Nothing will offend them. If you want to have peace, remember you've gone dumb and you've switched off your ears, you're deaf and dumb to all that, the world's behaviour, you're not involved in it, nothing will offend them. If If you want to have peace, nothing will offend you. Because the minute you're offended and take something personal, where's your peace gone?
It's gone.
Zapped. It's gone because you've let something in.
Isaiah 9:7, upon the throne of David. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the rule will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty Elohim, Everlasting Father.
Mighty Elohim. Even Isaiah said that Yahusha is going to be Elohim, and they missed it.
Prince of Peace. For of the increase of his reign and peace there will be no end, upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and peace.
Justice.
To order it and establish it with judgment and justice from that time forward, even forever. The zeal of Yahuah of the hosts will perform this.
How did he perform that? How did he become our peace? How did Yahuah of hosts become our peace? Who did he say it was going to be through? A child. So who became the child?
Yahusha.
Yahuah left his throne and became that child.
Yeah.
Wonderful Counselor, Mighty Elohim, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So does that imply there's two or one? One. He's Everlasting Father, yet he's Prince of Peace. And yet he's a child. So it's talking about Yahusha, isn't it?
Yeah.
He brought us peace. Go on.
Isaiah 52:7. How pleasant is it? How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who proclaims peace, who brings glad tidings of good things, who proclaims deliverance, who says to Zion, your Elohim reigns.
Again, that's what we're to be. Those sort of messengers.
Isaiah 53. The punishment for our peace. He was pierced for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. Bruised for our iniquities. The punishment for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed.
That's way back 1,000 years before Yahusha came. It was prophesied that he was going to do that. And they missed it. Even his own disciples, you can't die. You can't die, And look what it said, that he was going to become for our peace.
Isaiah 59:8. The way of peace they don't know. The way of peace they have not known, and there is no justice in their ways. For they have made themselves crooked paths, and whoever takes that way shall never know peace.
See that all around us today, don't we?
Yeah.
They've chosen every single way there is except Yahusha. And they'll never know peace.
No.
Yeah.
Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says Yahuah. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call upon me, and go and pray to me, and I will listen to you. And you will seek me and find me, when you search for me with all your heart.
See what we have to go through the vein for. See why we have to be wholehearted. You will seek me and find me only when you search for me with all of your heart. That means you're pretty desperate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you want him all day, every day, you've got to be desperate. Yeah? They're the only people he wants.
Do not mourn for them. Do not enter the house of mourning. Neither go to the lament. Neither go to the lament or mourn for them. For I have withdrawn my peace from this people, even the loving kindness and the compassions.
So what do you see happening? I know what I see happening with every second client. There's mourning and sadness and sickness and death, and even in family there's mourning and sadness and sickness and death. Yeah? And what does it say? Don't go into the house. Don't go into that place. Don't go and lament. Don't go and mourn for them. I have withdrawn my peace from this people. He's literally done it. I've taken the peace from them. Even the loving kindness and the compassion, he's taken it. So if you want to go in there and be as they are, you're crazy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Let the dead bury the dead.
Ezekiel 7:13. There is no peace. Destruction shall come, and they shall seek peace, but there is none. Because they have led my people astray, saying, Peace, when there is no peace. And when one is building a wall, see, they are coating it with whitewash.
Building like a city wall, a structure to keep the enemy out, but it's not built with stones and brick. It's built with, just plaster, just whitewash, so like they do on those shows. You can just run through it. Just run through it, paper, they can break through. Like it's fake. There's no character, there's no strength. So when real trouble comes, real testing comes, there's faint. There's no peace. People are wanting it, crying out for it, even declaring that we've finally found it, and they sign the accords and they sign the peace agreements and treaties, but there's no peace.
No.
And have to say something or look sideways and they pull out their missiles again. So it's like, there's no peace.
No. Matthew 5:23. Peace among brothers. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, then leave your gift there before the altar, and go your way. First make peace with your brother, and then come and offer your gift to me.
How does that relate to us? After everything we talked about, the offerings and the altar, sacrificing animals and bringing an offering, bringing a gift to Elohim, how does that relate to us today? Where's the altar?
We are the altar.
We're the temple.
We're in our heart.
Heart is the altar.
Heart is the altar.
So what is the worship? Your behaviour. Yeah? So if you're going through your day seeking to give offerings and praise and worshipping, behaving righteously, righteous behaviour to Yahusha, and you see a brother or sister, someone upset with you, what should you do? Just go on, it's between me and Yahusha, I'm going on anyway, or should you
go
make it right?
Yeah.
That's what it's saying. Don't just go ahead business as usual, if you see someone's upset with you, you should make it right. Yeah?
I did not come to bring peace. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but the sword of division, separation.
Notice that? When Yahusha comes into a family, a home, drops bombs. He tests, he shakes. Those who don't want him, those who cause trouble, they get shifted out of the way, don't they?
Yeah.
He didn't bring to come peace, but a sword. We can have peace inside ourselves, but the earthly peace that we think what it means, everybody getting along and walking along arm in arm, that one-mindedness, unity, he said, I come to bring a sword. I'm going to get in the way of your plans. I'm going to interfere,
Yeah.
because that's what his word does.
John 14:27. I do not give as the world gives. Peace I live with you. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid.
Different kind of peace that he gives.
John 16:33. I have overcome the world. These words I have spoken to you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you have pressure, but take courage. I have overcome the world.
And he was a man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he proved that you can overcome the world. Do not be a friend of the world. If you are a friend of the world, you are an enemy of Yahusha. He proved that you can, as a man, overcome.
Yeah.
In the world you'll have pressure, but don't worry, I've overcome the world. and so can we.
Romans 8:6. Mind of the flesh is death. For the mind of the flesh is death, but the mind of the spirit is life and peace.
How do you relate that to the vein? Why do we go through the vein? What are we seeking to get at the end of the vein?
The wilderness?
Yeah. But what are we trying to get out of us?
The spirit in our flesh.
And what does it say here?
The mind of the flesh is death.
The spirit in our flesh brings us death.
Yeah.
But the mind of the spirit is life and peace. The only thing that gets the spirit of our flesh out of us is his fire, baptism. The one thing everybody's arguing about, his spirit and his fire, they won't go through it. So are they got the mind of the flesh?
No.
Yeah, they have.
Oh, yeah.
They got the mind of the
We
flesh.
don't.
Even though they're preaching and teaching and harping on old Hebrew shadows and Torah laws and everything, is it spiritual?
No.
It's still flesh.
Yeah.
There's worldly flesh, there's religious flesh. It's all just mind of the flesh, though. A little hierarchy of who's going to be knowledge and remember it better. It's still all flesh, and it gives you death. That's what we've all come out of. Romans 14.
Righteousness, peace, and joy. For the reign of Elohim is not eating and drinking, but righteousness and peace and joy in Yahusha's set-apart spirit.
There you go. It's not about focusing. I can't believe, particularly at this time of year, so many clients are just constantly talking about food, eating and drinking. Even sitting there making online grocery orders while they get their hair done. They're saving time. They're just making order after order after order, and all this food. And just, I mean, I know it's festive season, but just that's how they live. It's all about food.
Yeah.
Because that's the immediate initial thing that your body wants all the time, multiple times a day, and we just lavish, abundant society. And what does this say? The reign of Elohim is not in eating and drinking, but in righteousness and peace and joy. It doesn't mean you starve yourself, but it means what's more important? Righteous behavior, which will give us peace and joy in the spirit. But you don't become spiritual unless you go in the vein. You can't enter the vein unless you enter the narrow gate, which is Yahusha Elohim. See how it all goes hand in hand?
Yeah.
So, and of course you know the next one. It's our series.
Galatians 5:22. The fruit of the Spirit. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no Torah law.
There is no scripture, there's no Torah law, there's nothing, even in the world. If you are doing these fruits all day, every day, you can't be wrong. You can be hated and accused of being wrong and lied about, but according to the actual scripture, you can't be wrong. It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And these have to be produced. We have to grow.
Galatians 6:16. Peace in the new creation. For in Yahushua Messiah, neither circumcision or uncircumcision means anything, but only the new creation. And for as many as walk according to this rule, peace and compassion be upon them, and upon the true Israel of Elohim.
Interesting. Paul calls us the true Israel of Elohim. Not the first wife, adulterous whore bag that was divorced. The true, because this was written back when there was a big argument going on whether they should be circumcised or not in the flesh. And Paul's going, there's no circumcision, doesn't matter. Only the new creation matters. And the new creation is the vein. Because Yahusha Elohim is the narrow gate. It's all about his blood.
Yeah.
He birthed the new creation. He was the starting point of the new creation. He started it. By leaving his throne and becoming a new creation, he set in motion a new creation order, which we're following,
Yeah.
Because he was a spiritual being, yet in the flesh. And we are now in the flesh, becoming a spiritual being. See what he did? So, circumcision, uncircumcision, Jew, Gentile, doesn't matter. Male, female, black, white, doesn't matter. Only the new creation matters. Only becoming spiritual matters. For as many as walk according to this rule, what rule? Peace and compassion. Peace and compassion is the only rule important here. And upon the true Israel of Elohim. So he's saying that if you want to be part of the bride, the remnant, that is the true Israel. The old Israel's gone, you know. And I don't want to be associated with it. That's why I don't even use the word anymore.
Yeah.
But Paul says, if you're doing this, you're the spiritual Israel. Yeah?
Yeah.
See?
Ephesians 2:15, Jew and Gentile together in peace. For Yahusha himself is our peace, who has made both Jew and Gentile one.
So the sticks, the prophecies, the two sticks becoming one, lost tribes of Israel all gathered together again. It's all happened in Yahusha. It happened. He found his lost sheep. He found them. And his apostles finished the job. And then it all scattered and went underground and then decimated for a couple of thousand years. And now everybody's waking up again now. The two sticks are one already.
Yeah.
Because becoming spiritual doesn't matter if you're Jew or Gentile. It doesn't matter about your bloodline. So see how it's all been fulfilled already?
Yeah.
It's happening. So Yahusha himself is our peace, who has made both Jew and Gentile one.
And has broken down the middle wall of separation, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, that is, the law of commandments contained in death ordinances, so as to create in himself one new man from the two, both Jew and Gentile, thus making peace, and that he might reconcile them both to Elohim in one body through the stake, therefore putting to death the enmity.
The enmity. Whether a Jew can be delivered, whether a Gentile has to graft into a Jewish mindset with Jew, Gentile. What do I have to do? This or that or this or that. There's an enmity going on. And it's all to do with this Torah law, these old Torah and prophets that were going on for thousands of years. Jews and Gentiles and this Torah law. It's a thorn in our side. There's an enmity. And what does it say? Yahusha ended it. It's finished. Complete. He brought it together. There's peace. He ripped down the middle wall. He's broken down every wall. He is our peace. Yeah? To create in himself one new man from the two. Two sticks have become one, as Ezekiel said. Reconcile them both to Elohim through the body of his stake. So through his death, his divine, powerful, cosmic, supernatural blood, he brought peace. That's why you got to go in the vein and become a peaceful person, a spiritual person. Yeah?
Yeah. Ephesians 6:15. Put on the full armor of Elohim. Put on the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in high heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having fitted your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of belief, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. And take the helmet of deliverance, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahusha, praying always in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance for all the chosen ones.
Put on the armor every day. So many components to the armor, isn't there?
Yeah.
We've got to actually put it on. And what is it all? It's all behavior. Yeah. So, just as these fruits we're learning to behave are weapons as well.
2 Timothy 2:22. Flee from the lusts of the flesh, and flee from the lusts of youth, but pursue righteousness, belief, love, peace, with those calling on the Master out of a clean heart.
Clean heart. That's the whole purpose of the vein. Once you hit your head on the cauldron, run into the cauldron, the fire, you can't get through it unless you become clean. Yeah? He wants us to be clean.
Hebrews 13:20, everlasting new covenant. And the Elohim of peace, who brought up our Master Yahusha from the dead, that great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant. Revelation 6:4, red horse judgment. And another horse, a fiery red one, went out, and it was given the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that they should slay one another. And a great sword was given to him, taking the peace between mankind and Elohim away, so only judgment remains.
Most people think that red horse just was bringing war, but it was taking peace from the earth. Firstly, taking the peace between Elohim and mankind, and then the result of that is war with each other. But people only talk about the war with each other. They don't talk about there's no peace.
Yeah.
What were all those sacrifices and offerings of old to produce?
Peace.
Yeah, peace. It was a way that mankind, through the tabernacle and the sacrificial system, could attain righteous behaviour and be peaceful and right. And that's gone now. It's been taken from the earth. Yahusha's showing us there is a way. You look a bit tired, mate. You want me to read the summary?
Yeah.
So, as we've seen in the sacrificial shadows, there can only be true peace when we have an intimate relationship with Yahusha Elohim through the transition of his deliverance vein. Once again, the sacrificial shadows were that, a shadow. What they did there, we now do in our body when we go through the vein. There can only be intimate relationship with Yahusha Elohim through the transition from flesh to spirit, transition from something old to something new, through the deliverance vein, suffering and the death of the fleshly self, which is fulfilling the purpose of the old covenant bloodshed. Fulfilling the purpose of the old covenant bloodshed. That's why it all happened. Our death to ourself, if we die to ourself, go through the vein and complete it and get into the wilderness, loving, joy, peace, we're actually fulfilling all of what that was supposed to achieve back then. Yes, the death of you is actually the fulfillment of Yahusha's bloodshed. By you dying to yourself, your fleshly wants and desires and perversions and the spirit that controls your flesh, by us dying to ourselves, we are actually fulfilling and taking on the actual purpose for Yahusha's death and bloodshed. For his blood was shed to give us the power over the flesh, because we can't do that in the natural by ourselves. We've got tomorrow is New Year's Eve, and how many people have made New Year's resolutions, which will last about a day or two? Because in our flesh, what can you actually achieve?
Nothing.
You know? Yeah. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to walk 50 k's. I'm going to this, I'm going to that, you know, and they fail because in our flesh, we're controlled. But by tapping in through the vein to Yahusha's power, that's why his blood was shed on the stake, so that we could have his spirit within us, spirit baptism. You can achieve this and be a fulfillment. All scriptures were fulfilled in Yahusha the bridegroom, and likewise they need to be manifesting in his bride, if there is to be a set-apart, equally yoked union, because he can't be unequally yoked. He can't marry a bride that's not like him. When Yahusha opened the seals, remember he appeared as the image of the spotless, the slain lamb in the throne room?
Yeah.
Well, he opened the seals. He was the only one worthy to open the seals. When he opened the seals, he sent the red horseman out to remove all the peace from the earth. Remember there were 4 horsemen? Well, there was a red one. He sent the red horseman out to remove all the peace from the earth. Not speaking of peaceful treaties between nations, but peace with Elohim. So there is no peace on this earth, and no one can find inner peace or rest. They can't find the stillness. They can't find a calmness or a quietness in their mind and heart. It's gone. People can't find it. Yahusha took the peace between him and us. So we have to go through certain steps and know and believe that he is Elohim to find the peace again. And we know that's the vein, don't we?
Yeah.
There's no more peace in this world. He's made it hidden. And no meditation apps, no breathing or stretching exercises down on the beach can connect someone to this inner state of ultimate, overwhelming and complete shalom. For just like his love and his joy, it's not of this world. See the picture, how they all stand on the beach and try and, you know?
Yeah.
Your mother used to say that years ago. I want to be on the beach. I want to be peace and calm, and I want to look at the sunrise and sunset. You know, like people want to be connected to the sand and the ocean and the water. They want to feel peace. But does it?
No.
You know, it might be for a few minutes while you're looking at it, but then you walk away and, well, there's no peace. Because what does it say? He's taken the peace. He actually sent the horsemen out into the world to take the peace. Gimme, I'll take that. He took it. So people can't feel it anymore. They used to feel it by offering up the certain sacrifices, and they would feel, oh, I've done the right thing. Nobody feels that relief anymore. Oh, I've done the right thing. They have to take pills, or they have to listen to apps or music. They have to do things to take their mind off the fact that they don't feel that relief, you know?
Yeah.
Those who love Yahusha's laws of love feel great peace, great joy and peace, and nothing will offend them. For they are impaling their flesh with its arguments and rights and thoughts, and are willing to not take anything personal, but let everyone, including Yahusha, have it, so that they can see him operate throughout their day, knowing full well that if they jump into the arena and perform, mix it up with their own way of doing things, which is usually focused on the self, then they will lose their peace and their joy. Why? Why would doing all that make us lose our peace and joy? Because in such behaviour we are not giving Yahusha Elohim the esteem he is so rightly deserves. See that?
Yeah.
We're not... Remember those seraphim creatures that just bow down and cry out, holy, holy, holy? They don't want anything of themselves. They're created just to worship him. If we can put off ourselves and understand that that's all he wants from us, to worship him, that's the best decision we can make. The cleverest, most intelligent thing we can do is to just worship him. Then we will feel all this coming out of us. Because if we don't, in such behaviour, doing things our own way, we're not giving Yahusha Elohim the esteem he rightly deserves as the master orchestrator of each and every circumstance, person and movement in our lives. When we rush in there and do things our own way, we're not giving him glory. We're not praising him for the awesome Elohim he is. And so we lose our intimate connection, and we lose our peace, we lose our joy for not loving him. So, are you willing to empty yourself and become clean and right in order to have loving, joyful, intimate peace that surpasses all understanding with Yahusha, as clever as we all think we are? Are we willing to put off our understanding, our mentality, our intelligence? Are we willing to put it all off and become dumb? Are we willing to be the dumbest person in the room and just be surprised by what people tell us? If you're going to nod off, don't nod off on the microphone.
I moved my arm.
You right?
Yeah, I just moved my arm and bumped that.
Got it? Are we willing to... Don't worry about that, Cameron. Are we willing to be the dumbest person in the room and just be surprised by what people tell us, and not have to go fishing and hunting for gossip and information and intrigue? To be happy and peaceful and not want drama? For so many people think that that's boring. I used to think that was so boring. Used to doing stuff. When there's nothing, no drama, you'd feel, oh, that's boring. There's nothing to stir you up. There's no excitement. There's no buzz. It's peaceful. You know?
Yeah.
There's business. There's home. There's 8 children. There's, so much going on, left, right, and centre, videos, and then it all just sort of goes quiet. And I'm bored. That's how it is at first, To be happy and peaceful and not want drama, for so many people think that's boring because they're used to living a life of drama. So they want to stir it up because it gives them a bit of a buzz. Are you willing to put off Put that off to have peace and feel his love. Scripture says that his presence transcends everything, and you feel it. In his presence is fullness of love and joy, and you feel at peace. You feel connected, and that's what going through the baptism of fire as a living sacrifice produces. Clean and intimate peace between you and Yahusha Elohim. Intimate peace. That's what it's all about. The peace that he breaks down the barrier. There's no more enmity between us and Yahusha. If you're not clean and you're not obeying him, then there's enmity. There's a conflict. You know, we have to become righteous in our behavior. There is no peace with Elohim Yahusha, and no eternal life outside of his vein of deliverance. And up here, see, we missed it. The 3 rules up there. That's why we have 3 rules. Am I taking this personal? Am I letting them have it? Am I making excuses? We ask ourselves all day. It keeps you in the peace. Because what was another word for peace? Shalom. And shalom meant peace and favour. So if you want to fast track, even if you haven't read the scriptures from cover to cover, you can do those 3 rules. And you can feel peace. You can feel his favour, his shalom. That's why they're there. Because the 3 rules are a behavioural summary of Yahusha's instructions. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yahusha likes to summarise things because there's not much time left. And we don't have time to memorise the scriptures from cover to cover. So he gives us 2 royal laws. He gives us 9 fruits. He's given us 3 rules. If you're doing the 3 rules in all circumstances, they encompass all scripture. You know?
Yeah.
This is how we can attain peace. There is no peace with Elohim Yahusha and no eternal life outside of his vein of deliverance. See that? The vein of deliverance. And that's how we become eternal beings. That's how we become delivered. That's why we go into the vein, to be delivered. See the poster there? We become a new creation. Just like Yahusha he started the ball rolling on the new creation thing. He was the new creation. He brought in a new covenant and a new creation order through his vein. Yahusha is Elohim. He puts us through a spirit baptism and a fire baptism. And once we accomplish those, and we're clean, and we're useful, and we're living the 2 royal laws and the 9 fruits, we've done love, we've done joy, now we've done peace. We're in the wilderness. These fruits are how we mature. That's how you know the fire's over, when you're living these 9 fruits all the time and it's not a battle. Yeah? So, that is the article on peace. Love, joy, peace. There's a lot in it, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
We have to be behaving this all the time.
Yeah.
Peace is just all encompassing. It's being intimately connected with Yahusha. It's being righteous and right. And it's the fulfillment.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've had enough. Your eyes are bloodshot.
Hey, there's a lot there. I think that sums it all up. That's peace.
Yeah.
Being able to do all that.
What about how there's no peace in the world? You can't find it because he took it.
Yeah.
He literally took it out of the world. You can't have peace. There's only one way to find peace, and it's inside you. But you have to die to get it.
Yeah.
And who wants to die? With the spirit that controls our flesh and the ego and the reputation and the rights and the knowledge. Who wants to die to themselves? Who wants to die to that? So who actually finds the peace?
Not many people.
It's a narrow gate. Not many find it.
Yeah.
So, and yet scriptures talk this out of all the words we've done so far, peace was one of the biggest words. It's all through the scriptures from cover to cover. Peace, peace, peace. But that's what he came for, to give us peace. To mend the gap, to bring peace between him and us and Elohim, you know.
Yeah.
That's gone. It's not in religion. It's not in the world. It's not anywhere. There is no peace. It's gone. If you don't have the vein, you don't have eternal life. You don't have deliverance. You're still in chaos. Yeah. So, Go for the peace, brothers and sisters. Go for it. It's available to you, but you've got to go through the vein. If you don't have the vein, shut your face. Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to add anything?
I think that sums it all up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, brothers and sisters. We'll be back next week to talk about patience. Oh, that'll be a good one. Patience. Yeah. Peace out.